Every town has its ghost stories, and the small village of Ravenswood was no different. They warned newcomers about the Whispering Woods, where the trees seemed to talk, and those who entered never came out the same, or at all. But Ellie, a skeptic, didn't believe in such nonsense. She had just moved to Ravenswood and was determined to prove the villagers wrong. Armed with only a flashlight and her stubbornness, she set off into the woods one misty evening. The deeper she went, the thicker the fog became. Shadows danced between the trees, and the wind seemed to carry faint whispers. Ellie brushed it off as her imagination determined to press on. But the whispers grew louder. "Turn back, before it's too late!" Ellie stopped, shining her flashlight in all directions. The beam of light cut through the fog but revealed nothing. She was alone, or so she thought. A branch snapped behind her. She spun around, heart racing, but again there was nothing. The whispers, however, grew more insistent, more desperate. "Turn back! She's watching!" Ellie's pulse quickened, but she pushed forward, the skeptic in her refusing to believe in ghosts or spirits. But as she walked, she began to notice something strange. The trees themselves seemed to be shifting, their twisted limbs reaching out toward her like bony hands. Suddenly the fog cleared, revealing a small clearing. In the center stood an ancient oak tree, its bark scarred and blackened. At its base, something glinted in the moonlight, an old, rusted locket. Curiosity got the better of Ellie. She knelt down and picked up the locket, brushing off the dirt. The whispers grew louder, almost deafening now. "Leave now, before she finds you." Ignoring the warnings, Ellie opened the locket. Inside was a faded photograph of a young girl, her eyes wide with fear. Before Ellie could process what she was seeing, she felt something cold brush against the back of her neck. She spun around, and there, standing just inches from her, was a figure, a woman, with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. Her skin was pale as death, and her hair hung in matted strands around her face. Ellie stumbled back, dropping the locket. The woman reached out a hand, and the whispers turned into screams. "You shouldn't have come!" Ellie turned and ran, her heart pounding in her chest. The trees seemed to close in around her, the fog thickening until she could barely see. She ran blindly, her only goal to escape the terrifying presence behind her. Finally, she burst out of the woods, collapsing onto the grass at the edge of the village. When she looked back, the forest was still and quiet, as if nothing had happened. But Ellie knew better. She could still feel the woman's cold touch on her skin, still hear the whispers echoing in her mind. And as she got to her feet and hurried back to her house, she knew one thing for certain. The Whispering Woods were far more than just a story, and now they had marked her.